Let us remember the Almighty and our Guru. Let us seek the divine blessings. Hands in Namaskar Mudra. Om Bhur Swaha
Bhurbhuvaswaha
Tatsaviturvarenyam
Tatsavaturvarenyam
Argo Devasya Dhimahi
Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi
Diyo Yonah Prachodayat.
Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat.
Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu
Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu
Gurur Devo Maheshwara
Gurur Devo Maheshwara
Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma
Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma
Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
Now first we are going to learn about the nature of a mindfulness teacher and teaching mindfulness. So how will you teach mindfulness? So you note down this very, like, this is important. Okay, so understand this that all the 7 characteristics that I made you write about a mindfulness healer, right?
Yeah.
Those have to be practiced on a daily basis in all the little things that you do, and whatever, to whatever extent you can practice it, you have to practice those characteristics, right? You need to be truthful, correct? You need to be kind, compassionate for others. You need to be compassionate about your own self, right? You have to stick to your ethics, correct? Whenever you are practicing mindfulness or whenever you're practicing any type of such techniques which are very, which really connects you with the Parabrahma, right? So that you need to understand. And one important thing is that we need to understand that whenever we are providing a therapy to somebody, okay, हमारे लिए we have to see, we have to, despite of us, like in addition to we becoming empathetic and compassionate towards them, we have to consider that God is in every human, right? So if that is the scenario, then you need to be very ethically strong. You need to practice those therapy, those MBI with a lot of, ethics. कि भाई हम इनका Say for example that you do not have time, or you do not have, when you are lacking time or you are rushing somewhere, just stop there, right? Do not teach that person after it, or do not give the therapy to that person after it. Just arrange a different session. Okay, so this is just an example. So don't rush to things. Okay, understand, make them understand, even when the time, you have a time limit, you have a time bound, but try to be very ethical, try to be very true to your own self towards your practice, okay, of mindfulness, because that is going to make you lead to your spiritual awakening, right? So there is a lot of responsibility on your head once you are a mindfulness healer, right, towards your own self, towards the society in general, right? So then you also need to be, it is not such that you always need to be, see, this is, there is a difference between you being empathetic, you being compassionate, you being true to your ethics and practice, right? But you also need to be professional, correct? You have to understand that आप किसी का अच्छा करने के लिए, भगवत गीता में भी भगवान कृष्ण ने यही कहा है कि आप किसी का गलत ना करें, पर आप अपना गलत होने भी ना दें, right? So you can, don't, if you can go out of the way, if you really understand and see a need to you, for you to go out of the way and teach or give the therapy, do that, right? But always, try to have your own boundaries, your limits, where you can't go beyond it, and that is bound to happen, because आप उसके आगे चले जाओगे, so then there will be a total mess in your head, there will be hustle unnecessarily with your own self, right, which we do not want as a mindfulness healer, right? फिर हम अपने में ही, we will be targeted, to settle our own self, and then we are not able to provide the other person like the right knowledge and the right practice, right? So you have to be authentic, you have to be professional, compassionate, empathetic, you have to practice all the 7 characteristics that I have made you right of a mindfulness healer, which is very important, correct? Now, this was it about how the nature of a mindfulness healer or teacher or trainer should be, right? You have to have your credentials in order to practice and in order to be a mindfulness healer, which Advaita is providing you with. Okay, Advaita, if as you know that it is an internationally accredited certificate that you are getting, right? Anywhere in the world you go and you can practice mindfulness, you can teach mindfulness, right? You can provide therapy, correct? So all of these is like a part of a nature of a mindfulness healer, all right? You have to be very pure from within, okay? I understand it's with the age is such कि जहाँ पे it is quite difficult, despite another factor is that we live in a society, हम समाज में रहते हैं, जब तक हम इस समाज में रहते हैं, we are in the web of life, okay? And some of the other things are such कि जो आती है, which is natural, okay? But mindfulness asks you to be aware about it, okay, and try to shift your anchor, okay, to the things which are more authentic, for you to be more equanimous. Don't see it as one-sided thing, okay? Try to be equanimous, try to be equal in your approach, okay? Because that is one thing that mindfulness actually teaches you. It is mindfulness, it is equivalent to mindfulness. Equanimous mind is equal to mindfulness, right? So these are the things, okay, that a mindfulness healer or a teacher or a trainer should possess, characteristics, right? Now moving ahead, teaching mindfulness. So how are you going to teach mindfulness? It is not such that you are going to straight away. So say for example, you have a training, and it is not such that you are going to directly start away by, chalo, let's do MBI, let's do rain technique, let's do stop technique. It is not such, correct? हमने भी आपको सिखाया, तो भी gave you the proper understanding of what is mindfulness शुरू किया हमने, right? Then the history, philosophy, psychology, evolutionary psychology, ठीक है, what the Indian philosophy has to say about psychology, ठीक है, how are you going to deal with your emotions, thoughts, body, ठीक है, mindfully. Okay, so you have to give a theoretical perspective to it. Okay, जब तक आपको थियोरी नहीं समझ आएगा तब तक प्रैक्टिकल समझ नहीं आएगा. अगर मैं आपको सीधा एमबीआई पे लेके जाती then you would be like, हम कैसे करने का, right? So I need to give you an understanding of what is mindfulness, what the concept of mindfulness is. So this is a sequence, okay, in which you are going to, you know, train your trainee, your students. Okay, when you are teaching mindfulness, or when you are, whenever if you think of creating your own institute, developing your own institute, ठीक है, this should be the sequence. ठीक है, कि सबसे पहले आप उनको थ्योरी पढ़ाए, ठीक है, जितना भी थ्योरी है आपको जो लगता है कि ये रेलेवेंट है, ये पढ़ाने जैसा है, दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट इन ऑर्डर टू अंडरस्टैंड माइंडफुलनेस प्रैक्टिकली, इन ऑर्डर टू प्रैक्टिस माइंडफुलनेस ऑन अ डेली बेसिस, ठीक है. तो वो सारी चीजें आप इनकलकेट करेंगे आपके कोर्स में, वो सारी चीजें आप पढ़ाएंगे पहले, ठीक है. देन व्हेन इट कम्स टू द एमबीआई प्रैक्टिस, ठीक है, और टेकिंग द सेशंस, सबसे पहले यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट योर पोस्चर हैज टू बी मेंटेन्ड, दैट इज द बॉडी, ठीक है. हम आपको इतना emphasize करते हैं every time my starting lines are maintain the posture, है ना, always in every session, correct. So your spine has to be straight, your neck has to be straight, spine and neck has to be in your aligned position, dhyan mudra has to be you know, developed, maintained, your neck should be straight, your eyes should be closed, you should be calm from within, right? So all of these things, the posture has to be maintained, ठीक है. posture of the body, of the hands, ठीक है, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, अगर आप ध्यान मुद्रा करवा रहे हैं तो अगर आप सिंपली सिर्फ हैंड मुद्रा और आप सुखासन में तो पद्मासन में बिठाए हैं, ठीक है, आपने ट्रेनिंग को, तो ये चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आपके शोल्डर्स यू नो बहुत ही ज्यादा अलाइंड रहे, ठीक है. तो ये है. देन यू हैव टू टीच देम द ब्रीदिंग टेक्निक्स. तो जितना भी हम करते हैं, ठीक है, that we do anulom vilom alternate breathings, that we do kapalbhati, we do ujjayi, we do bastrika, correct, we do brahmari and we do tratak, ठीक है. इतना चीजें, इट्स अ मेक इट अ रूटीन, इतना आपको करना है, ठीक है, बिकॉज उसके अलग ही सिग्निफिकेंस है, अलग ही सिग्निफिकेंट यू नो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है व्हेन इट कम्स टू माइंडफुलनेस प्रैक्टिसिंग एमबीआई, ठीक है. तो कोई भी एमबीआई आप सिखाए उससे पहले ये सारे ब्रीदिंग टेक्निक्स आप उनको करवाए, ठीक है. डिपेंडिंग अपॉन, मैंने आपको बताया हर एक ब्रीदिंग टेक्निक और हर एक प्राणायाम के पीछे कि व्हाट इज द सिनेरियो, कौन क्या चीजें कर सकता है, कौन क्या चीजें नहीं कर सकता है, right? So we have already discussed about it. So this should be the sequence. So then comes the proper mindfulness practice, proper MBI practice, ठीक है. Correct. So this has to be the sequence that you need to maintain whenever you are giving training to any of your trainer or trainee, sorry. ठीक है. आपको सेशन आपका उस हिसाब से आपको डेवलप करना है, आपको मैनेज करना है, प्लान करना है कि पहले आप, जैसे हम प्लान करते हैं, है ना, अद्वैत में, कि सबसे पहले हम आधा घंटा सारे प्राणायाम करेंगे, माइंडफुलनेस ऑफ ब्रीदिंग करेंगे, फिर हम सेकेंड हाफ में हम थ्योरी करवाते हैं, ठीक है. वैसे ही हम प्रैक्टिकल होगा तब प्रैक्टिकल में भी यही चीज होगा, पहले आपका प्राणायाम होगा फिर आपका एमबीआई होगा, ठीक है. सो दिस इज हाउ यू हैव टू मेक देम लर्न, ओके.
So, first of all breathing techniques, then we go to pranayam. मतलब sorry, that is a part of pranayam only. उसमें भस्त्रिका, भ्रामरी, त्राटक एंड देन एमबीआई. तो लाइक यू मैं ये प्रैक्टिस तो नहीं कर रही हूँ अनुलोम विलोम, बट ये कहाँ पे इंक्लूड करना होता है?
क्या फिर से लास्ट
अनुलोम विलोम मैं प्रैक्टिस नहीं कर रही हूँ, बट ये इंक्लूड कहाँ पे करना होता है? लाइक इन व्हाट सीक्वेंस?
अनुलोम विलोम यू आर प्रैक्टिसिंग ना बेटा, alternate breathing.
सॉरी
You don't practice Kapalbhati and you don't
कपालभाति, सॉरी.
practice
या
Ujjayi. है ना?
या
So the sequence goes like this, that first Anulom Vilom, ठीक है, उसके बाद आप करवाएंगे अगर वो इंसान कर सकता है तो कपालभाति.
ये भस्त्रिका, भ्रामरी और त्राटक के बीच में कराना है.
हाँ,
पहले अनुलोम विलोम,
फिर कपालभाति,
ओके,
फिर Ujjayi. That is throat breathings. फिर आपका आएगा भस्त्रिका, which is shoulder breathings. फिर आएगा आपका भ्रामरी, which is the humming sound. Then Tratak.
भस्त्रिका, भ्रामरी एंड देन त्राटक. ये डेली प्रैक्टिसेस में करना है.
Yes. अब किसी भी इंसान को सिखा रहे हैं, पहले ये प्रैक्टिस करवाए, okay? और उसके बाद एंड अगेन अंडरस्टैंड, डोंट फॉरगेट टू गिव द इंस्ट्रक्शन टू योर चिल्ड्रन और टू योर ट्रेनी दैट हम जब सेशन ले रहे हैं उसके 2 घंटे 3 घंटे तक कुछ ना खाए पहले, प्रायर टू इट. ठीक है, जैसे मैंने आपको पहले ही बता दिया था, है ना, कि हर एक बार जब आप सेशन के लिए बैठे तो उस हिसाब से बैठे कि आपने 2 घंटे तक कुछ नहीं खाया. ठीक है, then only this pranayams can be practiced. Also understand this one important thing, this pranayams and this entire practice is, जो भी हम mindfulness MBI जो भी करवा रहे हैं उसका कोई स्पेसिफिक टाइम नहीं है वैसे तो. ठीक है, आप सेशन कभी भी ले सकते हो, आप कभी भी सिखा सकते हो, क्लास के टाइमिंग्स कभी भी हो सकते हैं, बट इफ ट्राई टू प्रायोरिटाइज इट इन द मॉर्निंग्स.
ओके,
ठीक है, तो उसके इफेक्ट्स, उसके बेनिफिट्स अलग होते हैं. Also regarding the environment has to be quiet, not at all noisy. ठीक है, very quiet environment. ठीक है, ये सारे prerequisites हैं. Correct. Another important thing, do not forget कि आप हर एक ये जो कपालभाति के बाद जो आप कपालभाति करवाएंगे, उज्जाई करवाएंगे, भस्त्रिका करवाएंगे, भ्रामरी करवाएंगे, ये चारों के बाद आपको 3 राउंड्स ऑफ अनुलोम विलोम डेफिनेटली करवाने हैं इन ऑर्डर टू नॉर्मलाइज द ब्रेथ. सारे ही प्राणायाम, सारे ही ब्रीदिंग टेक्निक्स आप उनको बहुत ही प्यार से करवाएंगे. बिल्कुल भी उनको जर्क नहीं आना चाहिए, स्ट्रेस नहीं आना चाहिए. ठीक है, आप उनके साथ करिए. ठीक है, आपकी भी प्रैक्टिस हो जाएगी जैसे हम करते हैं आपके साथ. ठीक है, हम अलका जी के साथ करते थे. राइट, सो द सामने वाला इंसान जो आपके साथ सीख रहा है ना, दैट you are providing the motivation to that person to do it. और कहीं ना कहीं कुछ उनको अभी भी they are learning. ठीक है, वो प्रोसेस में they will see you and they learn, because सबसे ज्यादा हम learn कैसे करते हैं, देख के. तो always do with them at least for a week, first initial week आप उनके साथ करिए. ठीक है, now we will do mindfulness in Indian philosophy, deepening the practice through principle of our philosophy. Okay. So Adi Guru Shankaracharya, correct? उनको याद करते हुए हम ये शुरुआत करेंगे कि आदि गुरु शंकराचार्य who gave अद्वैत वेदांत, ठीक है, जिन्होंने अद्वैत वेदांत दिया. He has considered our Upanishads, correct, as the knowledge of the Brahma. ठीक है, उन्होंने ये चीज बताया कि it is Upanishads give us the understanding of what is Brahma, है ना, and this Brahma can be attained, ठीक है, can be reached once we remove all the will of ignorance, है ना. जब हम देखिए एक चीज आप समझिए, ये जो सारी प्रैक्टिसेस है, ठीक है, हमारा जितने भी वेदास है, उपनिषद है, उन्होंने जो भी कहा है, ठीक है, वो सब में अगर हम अपना तर्क लगाएंगे, लॉजिक लगाएंगे, ठीक है, तो हम वो चीज को समझ नहीं पाएंगे. And that is what Adi Guru Shankaracharya has stated, that when you will remove all the will of ignorance, तर्क छोड़ देंगे, ठीक है, तब आपको समझ आएगा that what is Brahma. So Upanishad will provide you with the knowledge of Brahma once there is a removal of will of ignorance. Okay. And what we talk about in psychology, the principle of consciousness. Okay. This consciousness, the principle of consciousness has originated from the mystical teachings of Upanishads. Right. The origin of principle of consciousness is from Upanishad. Right. Then the Shad Darshan, which is the 6 schools of philosophy. Did I made you write the 6 schools of philosophy?
I need to check.
अच्छा, okay, लिख लो फिर से एक बार. न्याय. So these are the 6 schools of philosophy. We have 6 schools of philosophy, which is also known as Shat Darshan. Shat is 6, Darshan is school, or what you can say, to see, institute. So first is Nyay. Nyay is given by Gautam Rishi. Okay, then it is Vaiseshika. Vaiseshika. Which is given by Kannada Rishi. Kannada Rishi.
Kannada.
Kanada. Then it is Sankhya. Sankhy. Sankhya is given by Kapil Muni.
Pardon?
Kapil Muni.
Kapil Muni. And first one is Gautam Rishi.
Then it is Yoga. Fourth one is Yoga, which is given by Maharishi Patanjali. Then it is Mimamsa. Mimamsa. by Jaimini Rishi. Jaimini Rishi.
Jaimini.
Then the sixth one is Vedanta. Vedanta, which is given by Vyas Muni.
Okay.
Okay. So all of them, all of these schools, all of these six philosophies, six schools of philosophies have a common goal, all right, which is the attainment of liberation. That is nirvana. Okay. Though their means to attain nirvana are different, right? But the common goal is to attain nirvana. Attainment of liberation. Okay. When we talk about meditation, okay, meditation is one of the 8 limbs of yoga. Right? What are the 8 limbs of yoga? So first is the yam. These are the 8 limbs of yoga.
Yam.
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 YAMA. Then second is niyam. NIYAMA. Then third is asan. Fourth is pranayam. Then fifth is pratyahar. Sixth is dharana.
Okay.
Seventh is dhyan, which is meditation. And then eighth is samadhi. Right? So this 8 limbs of meditation includes 8 limbs of yoga includes meditation as one of them, right? Which is given by Patanjali, Maharishi Patanjali, okay, and which is considered to be the culmination of yogi sadhana practice.
Meditation is considered to be culmination of yogi sadhana.
Yes, yogi sadhana. It is being said that when a yogi reaches a state where he is no longer a slave to the mind, right? Moksha or the true eternal liberation can be achieved.
When a yogi reaches
A state
where
where he is no longer a slave to his mind, right? At that time, it is the attainment of moksha or true liberation, true eternal liberation. Thus, mindfulness occupies a place of great significance in our wisdom, right? In our philosophy, correct? And it is a technique for the attainment of the goal of enlightenment. Right? Gautam Buddha gave the eightfold path. Okay. He gave the eightfold path, which is where he stated first is, this goes into the sequence. So first is right view. Okay. So your view, your vision, your perception has to be correct, has to be right. Right. Then second is right mindedness. So your cognitive view at the mind should be very right. Correct? There should be no malinta over here. Correct? In your thought processes. हम 3 प्रकार के पाप करते हैं as humans. ठीक है? एक्शन से, शब्द से, that is क्रिया, शब्द और मन, विचारों से. और सबसे ज्यादा हम पाप शब्द से या क्रिया से नहीं करते, हम मानसिक करते हैं. आपको किसी के बारे में गलत थॉट कब तुरंत आ जाएगा, इन फ्रैक्शन ऑफ सेकंड. तो ये बहुत ज्यादा राइट होना चाहिए, है ना. देन राइट स्पीच. ठीक है. एंड इट इज राइट कर्म. Your actions has to be right. Then it is right livelihood. आपका जीवन, आपकी दिनचर्या, आपका रूटीन, आपका जीवन बहुत ही ज्यादा सरल होना चाहिए. Then right efforts. सही दिशा में, सही चीजों पे, सही तरीके से आप अपनी मेहनत लगाएं. Right efforts. Then comes right mindfulness. क्यों ऐसा right mindfulness? Right mindfulness इसीलिए क्योंकि आप जो चीजें आपको जाने देनी है, जहां वो वेब में नहीं घुसना, उसके बारे में आप माइंडफुल रहेंगे, तो फिर उसकी इफेक्ट्स क्या होगी? एडवर्स. व्हाट इज नॉट राइट माइंडफुलनेस. जो चीजों के ऊपर आपको माइंडफुल होना है, जरूरी है. पास्ट की चीजों को लेके भी माइंडफुल होने की जरूरत नहीं है ना. दैट इज नॉट माइंडफुलनेस. राइट माइंडफुलनेस. Right, and then you will attend right equanimity, stillness. So these are the eightfold path, right, that Lord Buddha gave. And hence, if mindfulness is practiced in the right way, the reflection, that is our मन. Okay, जो ये मन है, रिफ्लेक्शन है हमारा सेल्फ का, is 100 times superior than listening, shravan. Okay, And the meditation,
then reflection of our
reflection जो है मन, ठीक है, this known as मन. Okay, that man is 100 times superior than listening, shravan. Correct? The meditation, okay, is 100 times superior to reflection.
okay.
Okay, and nirvikalpna, nirvikalp samadhi is infinitely superior. आप ये चीज समझने की कोशिश कीजिए. It has got a lot of significance for you to transcend from this life, from the life that you are living right now, which is a lot of suffering and pain, to the life of spiritual awakening. हम क्या करते हैं, हम लोगों की बातें सुनते हैं, फिर डिसीजन लेते हैं, फिर किसी को हम जज करते हैं, है ना. हम ज्यादा लोगों की बातों पे विश्वास करते हैं. तो क्या कहा गया है कि रिफ्लेक्शन, मन, is 100 times superior to listening. कोई एक इंसान वर्ड टू वर्ड वर्बेटिम नहीं बता सकता, कुछ ना कुछ तो आएगा ही उसमें. बहुत इधर उधर होएंगे, वो टोन ऐसा नहीं होएगा, वो पिच ऐसी नहीं होएगी. तो जब पिच, टोन, वर्ड्स चेंज हो जाता है तो मीनिंग भी चेंज हो जाता है.
That is because of the perception.
राइट, राइट.
Mm-hmm.
क्या कहा गया है कि रिफ्लेक्शन, वो जो है मन है, वो 100 टाइम्स सुपीरियर देन लिसनिंग, श्रवण. ठीक है, चलिए ये तो हो गया.
Mm-hmm.
फिर आप एक स्टेप और आगे बढ़िए. ठीक है, कि मेडिटेशन जो है, जो हम प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, माइंडफुलनेस, जहाँ पे हम अपने आप को एज अ थर्ड पार्टी रखते हैं और हम सिर्फ इंसाइटफुल होते हैं, हम सिर्फ अपने असली सेल्फ को, द ट्रू सेल्फ, उसको ढूंढने चले, उसको सिर्फ देखने चले. दैट मेडिटेशन इज 100 टाइम्स सुपीरियर देन रिफ्लेक्शन. दैट इज योर मन. आपका जो मन है, उसके पीछे है जो हम ढूंढ रहे हैं थ्रू मेडिटेशन. ये सारे शीट्स जो है उसको हटाने हैं ना, फिर वो देखना. करेक्ट. और तब आता है निर्विकल्प समाधि. दैट इज, यू आर नॉट द स्लेव ऑफ योर माइंड, योर ब्रेन, है ना. इक्विनिमस, देयर इज नो राइट, देयर इज नो रॉन्ग. दैट इज इनफाइनाइटली सुपीरियर. दैट इज मोक्ष. So thus mindfulness has got a lot of significance. We should also see it through the lens of not only psychology, neuroscience, philosophy, evolutionary psychology, right, but through the lens of Indian philosophy, specifically the Upanishad, the Vedas, the schools, what Buddha has said, right, in order to understand its significance. Correct? All right. Now we are just going to do one last thing, and I think we have time. Yes, we have time. We started at 8:30. We are going to see a video on respiratory system. It is just a small video, and on the basis of this, you have to make the notes. Nervous system से ज़्यादा respiratory system छोटा है. I mean उसका उतना आपको नहीं समझ फुलनेस सीखना पड़ता है in depth. बट यहाँ पे इतना इसका, इतना आप समझ लो तो बहुत बढ़िया.
Also, ma'am, when you will share this respiratory system, do share with me the Ujjayi.
Yeah, I'll send you the tutorial. Let me know if you can see the screen and you can listen properly.
Mhm.
Hey there, welcome to Reading. So take a deep breath in, hold, and breathe out. Repeat again. Aren't you feeling fresh and energetic? But tell me, where does the air actually go when we breathe? You might say it goes to our lungs. Well, yes, it is correct. The air passes through the respiratory tract and then enters the lungs. So let's explore the features and the parts of the human respiratory system. The air enters the human body through nostrils, which then passes through the nasal cavity. The air is filtered by specialized hair-like structure in the nasal cavity called cilia. The cells of the nasal cavity secrete mucus, which helps to trap the dust particles and blocks it from moving ahead. The nasal cavity also provides warmth and adds moisture to the air. The nasal cavity has specialized sensory cells that are sensitive to smell and odor. And yes, that is the reason why our nose is a sense organ. The nasal cavity opens into a much wider cavity called the pharynx. The pharynx is a common passage for air and food. It is easily visible when you open your mouth wide. Yes, the region behind our tongue. Has this ever occurred to you that while having food you cough because the food accidentally entered the other pipe? Well, yes, this never happens otherwise. This is because the pharynx has a cartilaginous flap-like structure called epiglottis. This epiglottis closes the windpipe when we swallow the food. It prevents the entry of the food in the windpipe. So, while swallowing, if the epiglottis is partially closed, we cough. Followed by pharynx is a region called larynx, the voice box. The larynx in males is often seen protruding out. This is called the Adam's apple. From here, the air passes through a 4-inch long tube-like structure called trachea. The trachea is often referred to as the windpipe. If you carefully observe the structure, there are many C-shaped cartilaginous rings present on the trachea. What do you think is the function of these rings? These rings prevent the windpipe from collapsing. Close to the lungs, the trachea or the windpipe divides into 2 tubes called the bronchi. The single tube is called bronchus. Each of these tubes enters the respective lungs. On entering the lungs, each bronchus further divides into secondary bronchus, which further divides into finer tubes called tertiary bronchi and much finer bronchiole. By repeated branching, the bronchioles ultimately enter in a cluster of tiny air sac-like structures called the alveoli. They are often referred to as the air sacs. The alveoli are surrounded with blood vessels. They are the actual site for gaseous exchange. Now talking about the respiratory organ, lungs. Lungs are a pair of air-filled, spongy organ located in the chest cavity. Carefully observe the size of the lung. Are the two of the same size? The right lung is larger than the left lung. Can you think why is it so? It provides space to accommodate the heart. Though centrally located, the base of the heart is slightly tilted towards the left, and this space is provided by the left lung. The lungs are protected by a rib cage. Here is a question for you to think about. Why does the rib cage have a cage-like structure with gaps in between? And why is it not a closed, sealed structure? Think of it and share your response in the comment box below. So, This was a session giving you a brief idea of the human respiratory system.
All right. Ujjaika, I'll send you. I'll have to see the proper tutorial. I'll ask sir if he has his own. हमारे अद्वैत का है तो I'll send you. ठीक है चलिए. Any question? No?
Like things were clear.
Okay. As far as the YouTube links are concerned, yeah. क्या हो गया उसको नहीं समझ आ रहा मेरे को.
मतलब आई थॉट के जितना पुराना लिंक है हो सकता है इसलिए ना ओपन हो रहा हो. सो आई ट्राइड लेटेस्ट वन आल्सो. मैंने सारे ओपन करके देखे बट द थिंग्स वर सेम. वो सेम ही रिस्पॉन्स आ रहा था व्हिच आई हैव शेयर्ड विद यू.
मैं लास्ट आपको सेंड किया था 22nd का.
22nd. हाँ हाँ.
ठीक है 3 days ago. So this is how you will be seeing in your YouTube. No, in your
नहीं
TV.
ऐसा नहीं आ रहा है. मतलब आई एम यूजिंग इट ऑन लैपटॉप तो वो दूसरा वाला बॉक्स बना रहा था व्हिच आई हैव शेयर्ड.
बट ऐसा कुछ आ रहा है आपके मेल में. ऐसा आना हो चाहिए.
हाँ मेल में ऐसा आ रहा है.
हाँ मेल में ऐसा आ रहा है ना. ओके सो
हाँ बट नहीं हो रहा है.
ओके let me see भाई. I'll see it today. Send it to you. कुछ करेंगे हम. चलिए. Let us remember Almighty and our Guru, and let us pray for the well-being of our loved ones, of our world. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः.
सर्वे सन्तु निरामया.
सर्वे सन्तु निरामया.
सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु.
सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु.
मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्.
मा कश्चित् दुःखाग् भवेत्.
1 Om 3 Shantis. Om
ॐ
Shanti.
शान्ति
Shanti.
शान्ति
Shanti.
शान्तिः.
Bow down to the Almighty, to the Guru, and be grateful for this another day in life. All right. Thank you. Namaskar.
नमस्कार.